Who will face Rafael Nadal in the 2019 Australian Open final? That is the question. We're previewing the second of two semifinals, Novak Djokovic against Lucas Pouille. They have no head-to-head. They've never played. That makes me very sad because, of course, I like to go back and look at the footage and then tell you guys what I saw. I can't do that. I can only go off of what these two have shown me this tournament. Djokovic doing what is pretty much expected of him and had a couple of four-setters, but looking pretty good. Lucas Pouille doing far above what anyone expected of him, including himself. He surpassed his own expectations for this tournament, especially because he didn't even look good in Hopman Cup, which turns out has been a terrible barometer of what we have gotten here in the Australian Open. Frances Tiafoe is another example. I believe he went 0-4 and had a brilliant run in Melbourne. So Hopman Cup, I guess, is garbage. And then Federer, who looked great, lost earlier than he would have liked. So let's get into this a little bit. I think that Lucas Pouille, first of all, I mean, he's blown me away. I mean, against Raonic, he had consistently the hands and the racket skills to make sure that whenever he got his racket on one of Milos Raonic's bombing serves, he was able to not only get the returns back in play, but he was able to keep them low. And he was forcing Raonic to hit a lot of low volleys, and he was winning a lot of points that way. Raonic had to pop up a lot of volleys, and then Pouille would make the pass on the next ball. He has brilliant angles, especially on his forehand, which I'll get into a little bit more shortly. So I mean, a lot of people don't think of a return of serve. They don't realize how important it is to have great hands. They talk about drop shots and volleys and short slices in the court. What about the return of serve? You have to mute the pace. So when the ball's coming in 140, you have to have good enough hands to mute the pace of the serve. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get it back in play. Pouille has great hands. Against Coric, the round before, and Coric was my semifinalist. I thought Coric played really well in that match, for the most part at least. And Pouille was absolutely spectacular with his shot making. He just made a lot more spectacular plays than Coric did, and that was the difference. They had a lot. They were playing obviously a lot of neutral baseline rallies. They were both serving really well though, and Pouille just. He was unbelievable. He was unreal. He was able to create more offense than Coric. And that's something that he'll always be able to do. A lot of people expected more of him after he took out Rafa in the US Open. And I got to be honest, after that, I watched him more and I started to kind of discount him. I started to not take him too seriously because sometimes he simply doesn't make enough balls. And I would think, if all you got to do is to beat the guy is get enough balls in play, and he's going to make so many unforced errors that he's going to gift you matches, well, he'll never be a consistent guy who makes a lot of deep runs in big tournaments. He'll never be that guy. And in this tournament, you got to give a lot of credit to his new coach, Amile Mauresmo, Andy Murray's former coach. You got to give a lot of credit to her because he's just playing really, really clean tennis. Now let's bring this back to the Djokovic match. I think that Lucas Pouille is going to hold serve an awful lot because I think the way he attacks is really, really the right way to attack against Djokovic. You can't hit through Djokovic. Pace doesn't work. Del Potro learned the hard way. Shapovalov learned the hard way. It doesn't matter how heavy you hit the ball. Djokovic is not going to have an issue with it. You have to hit around Djokovic. You got to use the court geometry. You got to redirect, and you have to use angles. And again, Pouille is good at a few things. One, when he runs around his forehand, he's really good at using sharp angle inside out. He loves that shot. That's very good. The other thing he's really good at is when he's on the run on his forehand, he's really good at hitting that cross-court angle as well. The backhand, the angles aren't quite as sharp, but he's really good at redirecting that shot down the line. So when he hits it cross-court, it's generally... well, I've actually seen him hit some good cross-court angles on his backhand as well. The point is, he can really use width well, and that's how you have to go about attacking Novak Djokovic. One more time, it just doesn't matter how hard you hit the ball. It's not going to bother Djokovic. So I think that, and then Pouille's serving tremendously as well. I really think that on Pouille's serve, he's going to play good attacking tennis, and he's gonna hold serve a lot. Here's why Djokovic bothers players like Pouille. Pouille is used to taking control of points with his ball striking, and Djokovic is going to basically keep him at bay with his depth. And a guy like Pouille, who's used to finding attackable balls, is not going to find attackable balls. It exercises different muscles that Pouille isn't used to using. Muscles of just patience and trading and waiting for your opportunity, because the opportunity to step in and attack, it's few and far between against a player like Djokovic. So how patient is Lucas Pouille going to be? And if he's not going to be patient enough, then he's going to make a lot of errors. And if he's patient enough, then does he have the fitness to hang with Novak Djokovic? Does he have the shot tolerance to hang with Novak Djokovic and play long rallies with him? An example is like Daniil Medvedev, who probably gave Djokovic the toughest match this draw. Medvedev is patient enough to play Djokovic's game and just wait. He'll just say, I'll wait, and Djokovic will say, I'll wait as well. And they're going to trade, and that's why they're going to have long rallies. They're going to be very, very patient. Is Pouille going to be that patient? If he's that patient, first of all, is he consistent enough to do it? And does he have the fitness enough to do it? Is he fit enough to do it? I don't think he will be patient enough. And I think he's going to have to make a lot of spectacular shots to have success against Djokovic. With that being said, he's really blowing my mind. He's so talented. He's got the he's like a bigger Fabio Fognini. He's that talented, and he hasn't been able to realize that talent for some reason. Maybe we're seeing that right now. I think he pushes Djokovic. I think this goes 4 sets, maybe 5 sets. I think Djokovic wins, but I feel like Djokovic would have had a much easier time against Milos Raonic, where he would have been able to get enough balls, get enough returns in play to give himself opportunities to break. And when he did get enough returns in play, he's so precise, he could have really picked on Raonic's backhand side. Pouille's strong off both wings. He's going to play some pretty points. That's just Djokovic going to have to throw up his arms and say, too good, can't do anything about it. And for Djokovic, I think the only way he loses this match is if he's too passive on his service games. Pouille on his forehand side really doesn't defend very well. He can counter attack pretty well, and on his backhand he uses the slice mostly to defend. But in terms of think of your prototypical high loopy cross-court defense, Pouille doesn't have that in his game. So he won't win as many points on the defense as Djokovic will. I think as long as Djokovic makes sure to play his healthy share of first strike tennis on his serve, I think Djokovic will also hold serve a lot. And if Djokovic holds serve a lot, he'll find his breaks of serve. I don't think they're going to be overly common. I think Pouille is going to take him deep into sets. Perhaps we get some tie breaks. Perhaps we get some 7-5, some 6-4, some tight ones. I think over the course of the match, Djokovic wins, but I do think Pouille, with his immense talent and shot-making ability, and the fact that I think he will have what it takes to break through Djokovic's defenses on a couple of occasions, I think Pouille takes a set and possibly 2. Winner takes on Rafa Nadal in the final, and when we do have that matchup, I'll be right back here previewing it. Until next time, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you.